class for today. There are no props required. We'll be going through some nice feel-good poses to create some freedom and movement within the spine. So once you have your space to practice in, go ahead and meet me in child's pose at the back of your mat. And when coming into your space, start with tucking the toes, bringing the feet towards one another. Arms stretched out in front of you, and slowly start to sit the hips back towards the heels. Maybe making your way in and out of this space. And as you sit those hips back towards the heels, you feel that tailbone tuck underneath you. As you lengthen through the low back, through the sides of the body, as you anchor through the hands at the top of the mat. And then starting to untuck the toes, allowing your hips to sit a little bit further into this space. Maybe coming out of it a time or two more until you officially settled into this shape. Taking a big deep breath into the back line of the body, into the back of the rib cage. And then exhaling all the way out, allowing the forehead to rest heavy onto the earth, chest to fall between the thighs. And maybe take a shimmy or two side to side to really settle your torso between the space available between your legs. Maybe using the grip of the fingers to push those hips a little bit closer towards the heels. Reaching that tailbone a little bit longer. Lengthening all the way through the back of the hips. The space within the low back. And keeping those side bodies nice and long, keeping the rib cage expanded. Take about 5 steady, slow, deep inhales, deep exhales. Driving that air, those inhales, into the back corners of the ribs. Almost like you can stretch through the spine, through the rib cage with just the use of your breath. Maybe walk those fingertips another inch or two towards the top of the mat for your final 2 breaths here. Keeping that reach, keeping the gaze down towards the mat, slowly start to walk the hands over towards the right, keeping those hips as low as you can, stacking the left hand on top of the right and really falling heavy through that left rib cage. Feeling that expansion, that opening all the way through that space. Trying to avoid any compression on that right side, so if you do, maybe come out of it just a hair or reach those fingertips a little bit further away from you. And then slowly, keeping that gaze back and still down onto the earth, slowly walk your way towards center and then over towards the left. Keeping that right sit bone anchored down. Reach that right hand on top of the left and really drive that right rib cage down towards the earth as you expand all the way through the ribs into the armpit. As the head falls between the biceps. Breathing into that right corner of the rib. Still reaching that tailbone back towards the heels. And slowly walk your way towards the center of the mat, falling into your child's pose. Then gentle press through the left hand as you sneak the right arm underneath that left armpit, coming down onto that right shoulder, down onto that right ear. Turning the gaze underneath that left armpit. Wiggle those left fingertips a little bit longer. Breathing into that right shoulder blade. Slowly starting to find a little bit of rotation within the spine. Slowly unravel your way out of the space. Right arm meets the left and settle for just a moment. And then go ahead and switch sides. Gentle press through the right hand as you throw that left arm underneath the right shoulder, right armpit. Left shoulder, left ear, ground down onto the earth as you gaze under that right arm. Breathing now into that left shoulder blade. Feeling that rotation start to introduce itself into the spine. And then go ahead, press that right hand, unravel yourself, come into that child's pose. And then we'll find a few spinal waves here to get out of the front of the hips. So go ahead and grip into those palms. Slowly start to tuck that tailbone underneath you even further as you pull yourself up through cat pose, rounding through the upper back. And as the hips start to fall, shoulders come over top the wrists, allow those feet to come away from one another. Pull yourself up and through high cobra. Gentle press through the tops of the feet, through the shins, the thighs, to really lift up through the hip points, the low belly. Linger here for a moment, shimmy side to side. And then go ahead and press your hips back. Move through cow pose as those hips slowly start to find the heels. Child's pose. One more round, inhale, pull the body through, rounding through cat, nice and slow. Really creating space through the back line of the body. Hips fall, feet come away from one another. Shoulders over top of wrists. Use the gentle press through the tops of the feet. Maybe lifting the hips through into upward facing dog if that feels good for you. Keep that lift through the little belly. And then exhale, sit those hips back, child's pose. Moving through cow as that feels good. And take a breath here in child's pose. Go ahead and pull yourself up into tabletop position. Bring those knees underneath the hips. Untuck the toes, tops of the feet flat onto the earth. And then slowly start to walk those hands toward the top corners of the mat. Keep those hips high, drop that belly. Drop the chest, coming into puppy pose. Allowing the forehead to come heavy toward the earth, that opening within the shoulders, within the upper back. I know we don't have blocks here in today's class, so if you want a little bit extra, maybe tempting the fingers. That'll allow you to work your way into the shoulders a little bit more if that sensation feels good for you, if it feels available. Two more breaths. And slowly start to, if you came onto your fingertips, plant the palms and slowly push through the palms. Walk those hands back underneath your shoulders, nice and slow. And find some freedom within your movements right away. Coming over top the wrists, kind of working through both the hands. Might as well take advantage of that. But also finding some freedom within the spine, maybe moving through cat-cow, maybe moving through some barrel rolls. Explore your mobility in a plane that feels new to you, but also feels needed, feels worth exploring. Sometimes we get stuck in moving through the same patterns of movement, maybe missing some areas that need a little extra attention, need some love. So feel free to explore and experiment with a position or a movement that's new for you. So maybe you don't usually move through any kind of barrel roll, kind of warming side to side. Try that, see how it feels through the side bodies, through the rib cages. Maybe sneaking forward and back through some spinal rolls through that tabletop position. Working through the shoulders, working through the hips. Everything helps contribute to the mobility within the spine. So take it all into consideration for the next few breaths. Within your next breath or so, settle into that tabletop position. We'll go through a few rounds of structured cat-cow, segmenting more and more through that spine, creating space. So start with an engaged low belly in a strong tabletop position. And on your next inhale, let those sit bones rise up to the sky. Belly falls and ripple that energy all the way forward as the chest pulls through the shoulders, gaze lifts. And exhale, press through the palms of the hands, really spread the shoulder blades wide as you round that energy all the way to the tailbone as that tucks underneath you. Inhale, finding cow pose, moving your way through it nice and slow. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Pull the chest through. Exhale, round. One more round, inhale. Exhale. Inhale through center. Finding a little bit more rotation, go ahead and press through the heel of the right hand. And you can either find a straight arm in this capacity, or you can go ahead and let's go ahead and bring the hand to the back of the head, that left hand to the back of the head, kind of making like a chicken wing here. So you're grounded through the tops of both feet, through the shins, through that right hand. And on your exhale, you're going to drive that left elbow towards the eye of that right elbow. And inhale, press through the heel of the hand, really peel that chest open towards the left. Exhale, left elbow to right elbow. Inhale, lift, turn open. Exhale, left elbow taps right. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Now from here, open that left arm towards the sky. Try to open that chest even further, stacking those collarbones on top of one another. Then exhale, left hand comes back to meet the right. Moving on to the other side, go ahead and bring that right hand behind the head. Strong through your anchor points, through the heel of that left hand, grounded through the lower body. Exhale, go ahead and bring that right elbow to the inside of the left. Inhale, peel that chest open. Notice how one side might be a little bit easier to rotate than the other. Exhale, close it off. Right elbow taps. Inhale, open. Really use the drive of that heel of the hand and through the belly as you open the spine. Exhale. Right elbow taps. Inhale, open. Exhale, tap. Last one, inhale, open, open, open. Really peel that chest towards the right side. And then maybe open that right arm, reach a little bit further. Gaze up towards those hands. Exhale. Right hand meets the left. Go ahead and walk those hands forward, come down onto the belly. Fingertips 10 and 2, elbows towards the sky. Gaze down towards the floor. Slowly start to peel the chest up and off the earth as you come up into oscillating cobra. Hips stay heavy, gaze lifts at the very end. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Finding your highest height on the next round. Inhale, lift nice and slow. Keep those hips heavy, maybe engage the back line of the body, back line of the legs, those glutes to lift a little bit higher. Open the chest. And then exhale all the way down. Hands underneath the shoulders, press the hips back, child's pose. Hips to the heels, tailbone tucks under, lengthen through the low back. Inhale, pull up into tabletop position. Feel free to tuck the toes in this variation. Just kind of change up our space here just a little bit. And from here, we're going to go ahead and inhale. We'll find a stable tabletop first. Engage that low belly, strong along the spine. And then inhale, that right leg's gonna lift back behind you, that left arm is gonna reach forward. Keep the engagement of the spine. Feel the engagement of the back body as you reach those fingertips forward, you reach those toes back. And then exhale, we'll tap knee to elbow, round through the upper back, pressing through the toes, the heel of the hand. Feel that rounding, that engagement of the core. Inhale, open. Stretch that body long, feel the engagement of the back body. Keep that right hip point facing down. Exhale, drive in. Inhale, open. Reach nice and long, feel the engagement. Exhale, drive in. Round and underneath you. Inhale, open. One more drive in, feel that rounding. Feel that engagement. Inhale, open up. Nice and long. Ground down through that left hand, stay lifted within the right leg. Go ahead and kickstand that left leg out back behind you. Open the body up towards the right side of the room. That right leg stays lifted, that right arm comes up and overhead. Feel free to keep the left toes tucked, or you can plant the top of that foot down if that feels more stable for you. And then go ahead and kick that right heel towards your bottom, grab hold of the top of that right foot, stay strong within that left side of the body. And kick into, nice and gentle, kick into that right hand. Engage the glutes, open the front of the body. Feel the engagement along the spine. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly let that go. Right leg kicks back behind you, right arm up and overhead. Drop the right arm, bow up and into that right rib cage. Feel that space. Opening up through the right side body. And keep that reach of the right arm as you slowly start to make your way back to tabletop. Shimmy those hips side to side. Whatever you need to reset yourself, moving on to the other side. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Play with whatever space feels good for you. And then from this space, find a nice strong and stable tabletop position. Inhale, that left leg is going to lift, that right arm's going to lift nice and strong and stable. Feel that reach, and then feel that lift to the back body. Exhale, drive it underneath you, round through the upper back, through the lower back as you engage the core to touch. Inhale, lift. Find length. Draw that left hip point down, stay strong within the belly. Exhale, drive. Drive and round. Create space for yourself by pushing through the heel of that left hand. Inhale. Reach nice and low. Exhale, drive. Inhale, lift out and open. Exhale, drive. Try to touch that knee towards that elbow or make that energetic connection by contracting the underlining of your belly. Inhale, lift. I don't know what number we're on, but we're going to go for one more. Exhale, round. Drive those 2 points together. Make that connection. Inhale. Reach and lift. Nice and long and engage that body. Right hand plants. Kickstand that right leg back behind you. Toes can stay tucked or untucked, whatever is most stable for you. As you keep that left leg lifted, peel the body open towards the left. Left arm up and over towards the sky. Lifted within that leg. Strong through your base on that right side. And then go ahead and kick that left heel towards your bottom. Grab hold of that left ankle. And then gentle kick into that left hand as you engage the back line of the hips to press those hips forward. Feeling those muscles turn on along the spine. Really roll those shoulders open. Collarbones are nice and broad. Your right side is super supportive here in this space for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly let go of that left leg. Left arm reaches up and overhead as you drop that left leg down towards the back of the mat. As you lift through that left rib cage. Using that right side body to help scoop yourself up. And then keeping that reach of the left hand, slowly start to close off your space. Coming back into tabletop position. Keeping the tops of the feet onto the earth. Toes are untucked. Sit those hips back towards your heels. Bring those fingertips back behind your toes. And then slowly start to scoop that tailbone underneath you. Press the hips up towards the sky. Roll those shoulders out and open. Heart lifts up. Feel that opening through the back body. Really squeeze through the glutes to lift those hips. Gaze can fall wherever you feel most comfortable. Maybe dropping the head back, opening through the throat. And then slowly, nice and supportive, come on back down, hips to heels. And then cross your ankles, roll over top, sit bones find the earth. And then you're slowly going to make your way down onto your backs. And keeping those soles of the feet planted, knees bent. Arms can find a capital T, or you can grab hold of opposite elbows up and overhead and slowly windshield wiper the knees side to side. Moving in whatever capacity feels good. You can keep the knees together as you rock side to side, or you can let those knees move a little bit more independently of one another, creating some space within the hips as well as the low back. Finding some nice rotation within the spine, within the hips. Again, everything is connected, of course, to your center. So being able to move through the spine also means that it's Definitely helpful to find some nice movement within the hips, within the shoulders, so we're not feeling locked in our energy in those spaces either. So when moving through one comes moving through the other. And that's just an important thing to acknowledge. On your next breath or so, find center. If you brought hands overhead, go ahead and release that space. And then go ahead and bring that right knee in towards your chest, give it a good squeeze. And then extend that left leg nice and long, reaching that heel toward the top of the mat. As you bring that right knee alongside your torso or in towards your chest. Feel that space within the hips. And then keeping that bend to the right knee, go ahead and twist over towards the left. Right arm reaches over towards the right. Feel that gentle supine twist through the spine. Try and keep that right shoulder anchored. That might mean that that right knee is still floating from the earth. That's okay. Just support it with that left hand. Trying to settle into the space that you're creating. Trying not to fight against it. Sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing that until we bring a little bit of attention into that space. There's always a little bit more softness that we can bring into our shapes, into our movement. So see if that exists here today. Go ahead and bring that right knee back in towards center. Give it another good squeeze. And go ahead and bring that right foot down to the earth. Left foot comes up to meet the right. Go ahead and switch sides. Left knee in towards the chest. Right leg extends long. Really reaching through that right heel as you bring that left knee in towards your body. Really trying to create space through the pelvis, through the back of that left hip. Give you a nice neutral spine. Back of the head, back of the skull is flush with your mat. Try not to tuck the chin towards the chest or find it too much of a lift with the chin. Again, trying to find and maintain a nice neutral spine. As you go ahead and bring that right knee over towards the left. Your left knee over towards the right, excuse me. As that left arm extends nice and long. Anchoring down through the shoulder blade, feeling that twist through the belly. Guiding and supporting that space with the right hand. And breathe. Where can you soften? Where can you breathe into to allow that to become a reality? Can you keep that chest facing the sky without forcing your body into a space it's not comfortable with? Feel free to even close the eyes, soften the gaze, to keep that focus inward on your body as things continue to slow down in pace. Go ahead and bring that left knee back in towards the chest, give it a good squeeze. Left foot comes back down to the earth, right foot meets the left. Go ahead and bring both knees in towards the chest. Nice long spine here. Then go ahead and grab the outer edges of both feet. Find happy baby. Find stillness or find a little rock side to side. Maybe a little massage for the spine as you do so. Keeping those shoulders down and away from your ears. Really soften through the hips. Two more breaths. And nice and slow, bring those knees back in towards the chest for one last moment of compression. And then slowly start to extend everything out, even reaching those hands up above your head into the space back behind you. As you reach the heels towards the top of the mat, really stretch out through the torso. Deep breath in. Open the mouth, exhale. Seal the lips one more deep inhale. Stretch everything out. Exhale, open the mouth. And settle in to your Shavasana. Wiggle the hips, free that space up. Scoop the shoulder blades underneath the shoulders. Puff up the chest, palms towards the sky. Gentle lift to the chin. And soften that gaze all the way to a close if you haven't already. And using your breath, that inward focus to scan the body once more, even in this final rest, even in Shavasana. Depending on the day, we may still be holding on to tension. That is obviously not required here in this space. So for you today, where might that be? Are we clenching within the hips? Are we closing forward and in with the shoulders? Are we scrunched within the face? I find that those three areas are pretty common to not only hold on through to tension throughout the day, but even here in this space when there is no extra element of energy required to be here. Yet we're still contracted, we're still tense, we're still holding on to energy we don't need. So acknowledge that, let it go. On your next breath or so, slowly start to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Make some circles within the wrists, within the ankles. To now consciously create movement to send that energy, that flow of energy back through the body. And you can still stay here in Shavasana with your eyes closed for another few more breaths. If that feels needed, if that feels required for you here in this moment.
As always, thank you so much for practicing with me. And if you enjoy being here in this space with me, please feel free to like, subscribe to my channel to continue to flow with every Monday class and classes that have been posted over the past year. So thank you so much for being here and practicing with me in this space. And I look forward to seeing y'all next time. Have an awesome rest of your day. Namaste.